Baldur's Gate 3 Patch 8 is introducing new subclasses. In this video, we're going to be talking about them because there's at least one subclass that I really resonate with, and that would be the Drunken Monk. You can actually play as a Drunken Monk where drinking alcohol basically gives you superpowers, unlike real life where it leads to you leaving your door unlocked and then somebody breaks in and poops your pants. It really sucks, and the police are still investigating it, but this is not a true crime podcast. This is a video on Baldur's Gate 3 and the new subclasses that Patch 8 is going to be introducing. So let's start with the first subclass, and that would be the Bard College of Glamour subclass. As a College of Glamour Bard, you'll find you have the power to heal friends and command enemies in equal measure. Cast Mantle of Inspiration to bestow your allies with 5 temporary hit points, and should an enemy attack while it is cast, they'll find themselves charmed. Play your hand correctly, and you'll be able to use this to your advantage with Mantle of Majesty. Target charmed enemies, and you can command them to flee, move closer, freeze, drop to the ground, or drop their weapons. So being able to convince enemies to drop their weapons is a pretty sick thing, but otherwise, this is cool, but it's not that crazy to me. Next one I like. This one's the Barbarian Path of Giants. For the Path of Giants, and your newfound giant strength will make it easier for you to yeet friends and foe alike. Forget chugging potions to pump up those muscles. The Barbarian benefits from the Giant's Rage passive that grants both strength and size, allowing you to deal additional damage with throw attacks. Pockets weighing you down, not for you and your increased carry capacity. So you can carry more and you're going to be able to throw things pretty far. Whether or not you got a giant deal, we don't know yet, but that is, well, discovered in the character creation part of the game. Or when you decide to romance a bear, which is a little awkward still, but hey, you do you. Next up, we've got the Cleric Death Domain. I love the name of this. As a Cleric of Death, you'll find a few dark new tricks up your sleeve, from spells to specializing in necrotic damage to 3 new necromancy cantrips. These include Toll the Dead, a cantrip that causes 1 to 8 damage when your cleric rings the bell of impending doom, a number that scales if your target has already been damaged. We've also added the homebrew ability to explode nearby corpses, damaging enemies. Being able to explode corpses, that's just pretty metal. And yeah, like crank some, I don't know, crank some metal music in the background, maybe a little bit of like Dragon Force or something like that, and blow up some corpses. That sounds like a good night to me. But if you're listening and you're with the FBI, I would never do that at the. No, we're not even going to talk about it. Let's move on to the Druids' Circle of Stars. These Druids look to the stars for answers. All right, that's a little weird. We're no, astrology, really? All right. Accessing powers beyond. Okay, well, I guess it gives you real power. So +1 to astrology. Accessing powers beyond was offered through the classic wild shapes, taking on one of 3 starry forms for their power, the constellations of the Archer, Chalice, and Dragon. Each one favors a different playstyle and strategy. The Archer dealing radiant damage with astral arrows, the life-giving chalice restoring hit points to you and others nearby, and the wise dragon allowing you to deal damage with an added bonus to constitution rolls. The starry forms offer not just a celestial aesthetic, but practical, powerful options to enhance your role as a healer, fighter, or strategist. So it's pretty cool. It's like a new take on Druid. I like it. Paladin, Oath of the Crown. This one I do like. You've been sworn to uphold the principles of law. Stay true to your oath, and you'll be rewarded with the power to aid your allies and disrupt your foes. Guide your companions in battle with righteous clarity. Taunt enemies with strategic interrupts, and keep your party standing strong with divine allegiance, absorbing their damage while restoring their health. So it's cool that you get another like oath that you can take. I like that. Next up, though, we've got a fighter, the Arcane Archer, because Archer classes, if you ever played Skyrim, you know that's where all paths lead to, anyways. So you can play as an Arcane Archer, mastering the dual arts of magic and marksmanship. The Arcane Archer subclass offers unique skills on top of new shooting animations. So that's cool that they're adding new animations. I like it. This is most games would sell this as a DLC. Like literally, they probably would. And this is all for free. Banish foes to the Feywild, removing them from the battlefield for a turn, or unleash psychic damage that forces enemies to make a wisdom saving throw or be blinded until the start of their next turn. Look, to be honest, I'm all about the archer class. We got pirates coming up, so that's probably a little bit better. And next up, we've got the drunken master, the monk drunken master, which I'm all about. Putting of a brew in homebrew. As a drunken master, you have the ability to consume alcohol straight from your inventory as well as drink from bottles you see around the Sword Coast. In order to recover Kai, by sharing the bottles with your enemies using Intoxicated Strike, you'll generate a buff towards your armor class and your chance to hit drunken targets. Drunken enemies are also susceptible to the drunken master's other abilities like Sobering Realization, which sobers up drunk targets, dealing physical and psychic damage. I just love the fact that you can play as a drunken monk. Like, let's all admit that that is pretty damn awesome. Where most of these games are going around talking about the bad side of liquor, making you a little stumbly, making things look a little worse, making you wobble. This one is giving you superpowers. I like it. I'm all for it. We should make alcohol in real life that acts like this. Moving on, Ranger Swarm Keeper. The Swarm Keeper subclass provides rangers with three kinds of deadly swarms to assist them in combat. The Cloud of Jellyfish deals extra lightning damage, potentially shocking your enemies. The Flurry of Moss deals physical damage, giving you the potential to blind your enemy. The Legion of Bees deals piercing damage and forces the enemy to make a strength saving throw or be knocked back 15 feet. Each swarm also has the ability to provide you with teleportation capabilities. So being able to teleport, that actually is like a whole new thing that is opening up. I like the fact that he didn't just stop there. So it's cool. I like this class. I like the fact that it's got that is pretty cool. Next one, I do like this because this is basically a pirate class, which like who doesn't like? At some point, everybody wants to play a pirate in their favorite video game, and Baldur's Gate 3 playing a pirate, that's just pretty freaking awesome. Rogue Swashbuckler. The Rogue subclass introduces a range of new actions fit for the piratical life. Play dirty. I didn't even know that was a word, piratical. I like it. Play dirty by tossing sand at enemies to blind them, flick your weapon at a target to disarm them, or use your new fancy footwork passive while meleeing your enemy to ensure you can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn. So that's pretty cool. Sorcerer Shadow Magic. And let's be honest, like these attacks aren't what I'm really looking for. Just the fact that I can roleplay as a pirate. If they add some cosmetics for that or someone mods those in, I'm all about it. Let me play as Blackbeard. I don't even care if Blackbeard shouldn't exist in this universe, but I don't care. Let's keep going. Sorcerer Shadow Magic. This is cool. I like anything that seems a little dark, a little shadowy, except for the deep state. As a shadow magic sorcerer, you deal in the form of magic that makes you deadliest in darkness. This subclass gives its sorcerer superior darkness, as well as the ability to shadow walk in places of dim light or darkness. It also lets you call forth the perfectly homebrewed Hound of Ill Omen to harass your foes and use Strength of the Grave to prevent you from being drowned. Ideal for those attempting honor mode runs. So this is cool. They made it specifically with the idea of like influencing honor mode runs. But I just love the fact that like these are actually some pretty unique abilities that they've given you. It doesn't feel like they're just rehashing things. This really does feel like a new subclass that you can play. So people who like to do multiple playthroughs, going across all the different classes, seeing how this game interacts with different characters, this is sort of like a whole new subclass, a whole new character type, a whole new take that you can have on the game, which adds so much replayability. It's just amazing. It's mind blowing that they're doing this after they've released the game, and like pretty much everybody said like this game was amazing. Like make the next one, and they're still releasing stuff for it. It's cool. Warlock Hexblade. Hexblade warlocks make a pact with an entity from the Shadowfell that manifests in the form of magical weapons. Curse your enemies and force their souls to do your bidding. Slay any enemy that isn't given generally an element of nature, construct, giant, blob, or already dead. And you'll be able to raise your spirit from their corpse for 10 turns. This new summon can deal necrotic damage and will rip away a chunk of your enemy's soul to provide your Hexblade Warlock with healing. That's pretty cool. A little bit of life steal there, along with maybe being able to raise the dead. Like these are all well thought out. And the last one, Wizard Blade Singing. Blade Singing subclass merges swordplay with wizardry. Experience new spellcasting animations when casting spells with your weapon. A new Blade Song ability grants you supernatural speed, agility, and focus, plus gives you a bonus to any Constitution saving throws you make. So that's all like really awesome stuff. These are all really cool new classes, and it gives you like a whole new way to play Baldur's Gate 3. I think I might honestly, it's been long enough, and I've forgotten enough that I think I might have to do another playthrough as a as a drunken monk, but I also probably as a pirate. I don't know. We're gonna work some stuff out here, but it seems pretty cool. And like they're adding some other cool things like crossplay, a bunch of new photo mode options, which like I know a lot of people don't use photo mode, but it's really cool that they're adding those for people who are into it. But the fact that they're just releasing this patch and giving us so much content way after this game's been released and gotten critical acclaims across the board is amazing, right? It's one thing to go back and try and fix a game that doesn't feel right because you know there's a good chance for you to fix it and come up with something great in the future, like Cyberpunk, right? Fixing that game means that they can keep going with the IP. Baldur's Gate 3, the IP, the critical acclaim is already locked in. They don't have to do anything. They're still doing it and they're not charging us for it. And that's spectacular. So like such a good studio, such a cool looking patch, some amazing new subclasses. What's not to love here? I'll see you guys at some point playing Baldur's Gate, and we're hopefully gonna have a blast. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, keep role playing your favorite new subclass. And for me, it's the Drunken Monk. Cheers.